from Mary McCumber to Guyanis to the peacekeepers. They made a lot of progress, and for me personally, I'm just gonna have to be more vocal about the issue, get more awareness out there, speak to community members. Actually, I just spoke to a community member recently about this issue, and you see the tears in their eyes when they're talking about their 13-year-old, 14-year-old son who was a straight A student in a private school, had a bright future, had a good job and a summertime job, and then started, she told me the story that started out with smoking marijuana, then it graduated to coke and then ecstasy, and now he's in a lockdown hospital, and we're talking about a straight A student that was in a private school that had the future ahead of him. Now he's in a lockdown hospital because he got involved with drugs at a young age, and that's got to change. There's so many sad stories out there, and I'm asking community members to come forward and let's try and make a difference. I can't do it alone. It's got to be a community initiative, and I'm going to do my best on the issue, whatever it is. Like,
we'll talk about some of the some of the other issues surrounding it and how that can tie into it. But we're going to take a break, and we'll be back right after these messages. And welcome back to On the Record. In studio, Chief Carl Horn. So, there's a lot of people out there that have a lot of stories, and it touches a lot of people. It's a public, campaign that's going on right now. Is it going to pick up, or is it or are you blitzing it all the time? How is that? How are you working? What's your strategy right now?
Well, right now I'm speaking with various organizations, to try and form a better partnership, along with the peacekeepers, KSCS, and this, the Community Prevention Task Force, and just to get get a grasp on what they're doing and what we can do together as organizations and as stakeholders involved in this, and let's come up with some solutions, whether it be preventative measures or the thing is, I want to try and take a more proactive approach, to the drug issue, and it's not going to be easy. I mean, like I said, it affects a lot of people, but the time is now. I mean, people out there know that. It's a sad thing when you see a straight A student or a star athlete get involved with drugs at a young age and throw everything away. I played lacrosse with a lot of great players there before, and hockey and golf and baseball, and a good friend of mine that I play baseball that lives on the outside was drafted by a major league team, went to play in the minors, got involved with drugs, and now he's he's late 30s, mid 30s, and he's still living in his mother's basement when he had the sky was the limit for him, and I don't want to see that in my own community. I just want to try and do my best to make sure the drug issue, drugs doesn't ruin one future potential Olympian or scholar student.
I mean, I guess the prevention part is the good thing, to get as much information out there as possible, and the more people, then I guess the more information that a lot of the youth will have, I guess, to make an informed decision, whether, regardless of what it's going to be. Hopefully it'll be the right choice. Mm-hmm. But how do we keep the drugs out of their hands, though? I mean, telling them not to do it is one thing, but how do we try to prevent that from happening? And that's a bigger picture. I think it's a hard part to get all the information out constantly, but how can we take it out of their hands? So how can we get it so it's not as readily available to them?
Like any other business, you have the supply and the demand, and as a police officer, their main job is to concentrate on the supply, where it's coming from and who's bringing it here, and my job now is to try and eliminate that demand. Obviously, it's not going to be easy. We have to try and eliminate that demand somehow as a community. I mean, whether it starts in the home. I mean, obviously it starts in the home with your own children and speaking to them, as well as at school with the teachers. I mean, to stress the dangers and the consequences of getting involved with drugs. And like I said, this thing that we did at the survival school, not only the guest speaker spoke, but teachers spoke to their students, and which is a good positive step in the right direction, knowing that if the student or is not comfortable speaking at home with their parent, maybe they can speak with their teacher, somebody who they're more comfortable speaking with. And the best thing we can do is take preventative measures and more campaigning, especially with zero tolerance, and possibly explore the banishment. I mean, to date, one has been banished, and for me personally, I don't see a problem, even talking about it, especially at a council level, and then see how the community feels about that. I mean, obviously it's a sensitive issue, but these drugs are getting into the hands of 13-year-old, kids, and that's a problem.
But it's been talked about for a long time, and you just had said it again about the zero tolerance, and we have billboards up, zero tolerance. But what does that mean? What does zero tolerance mean to you? Because apparently it means different to different people, because even though that people are saying that there's zero tolerance, nobody knows what that means, because nothing's ever been done.
Yeah, I mean, people laugh at that zero tolerance. I mean, like my experience as a police officer, 12 years, we explained to them it's zero tolerance, and they just laugh. I mean, individuals just laugh, and that's a problem. It's becoming more of a problem when I hear more stories about potential students or teenagers who have so much potential, either in athletic wise or academic wise, and their dreams and their aspirations are diminished because of getting involved with drugs. And to me, I don't have a problem saying that word banishment. If obviously there's due process. You're tried, convicted, and to me it's a community decision that we have to make.
I think some people, the word Mohawk law has always been thrown around this community. Nobody knows what that means, but deep down, people know what that means. When it comes down to action, there's Mohawk law action, meaning that whatever the community decides, or I guess the majority decides is going to happen, is going to happen. Whether you like it or not, whether it's in this, I guess in the same halo as the rest of the laws in the province, but banishment is a Mohawk law, and there's a lot of other ways of dealing with situations that sometimes are a little off the wall, but they work. I know that, and you're probably the same thing, is that over the years, the Selma DeLille, Wilma Lahash, and Molly Sky had done a lot of work in regards to the drug issue. I worked along with them. They did a lot of marches. They used to actually have fires every single night. Is there anything planned, something like that? Or?
No, right now we're just at the preliminary phase of for me personally getting involved. I mean, I've been tied up with the membership thing, but the drug issue was always in the back of my head, and it's something that I thought about every day, especially when I send my two kids off to school, knowing they're at the age, they're 16, 13, and I think about it on a daily basis. Not only with, for my own kids, but everybody else is a teenager out there. Who I see, with plenty of potential, and like I said before, there's nothing worse than wasted talent, and I just want to try and make a difference on the issue and go from there. I mean, but like I said, right now I'm at the early stages where I'm trying to get the message out for people to start talking about it, whether it be banishment, whether it be zero tolerance, because it's getting to it's getting worse. When a 13-year-old is being exposed or being, asked to try ecstasy and crystal meth at that age, I mean, it's happening.
It's younger than that.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about some of those things, about how it's getting in the hands, and you know, and things like that, and the availability, which is always there, and then how can we continue the movement as a community? And we'll do that right after these messages.